You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Monday, June 28th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, Star Trek The Next Generation star Marina Sirtis talks to the big issue about why she left America, among other things. And the Television Academy has announced rule changes to allow more gender-inclusive options at the Emmy Awards. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. The Big Issue, the award-winning magazine in the UK dedicated to helping people in poverty, recently published an interview with Star Trek The Next Generation's Marina Sirtis, who talked about her recent move back to the land of her birth and the reasons for it. Picking right back up from a 2019 interview where she declared that Star Trek fans and Republicans cannot coexist, Sirtis shared her thoughts on that disparity and how it inspired her to move. Yeah, well, they do coexist, but it doesn't make sense, she said. They obviously aren't watching the same show that everyone else is watching, and they're the reason I've come home, actually. I can't be in that country anymore. Sirtis referenced the January 6th insurrection in Washington, D.C. as the turning point for her, adding, "I was worried that there was going to be a civil war, and Trump supporters have guns." Even with the former president out of office, Sirtis lamented the lingering sense of fear because he's living in their hearts. Referencing her late husband, Michael Lamper, she recalled, "My husband, God rest him, used to sleep with a loaded gun by the side of the bed. That's no way to live." Now, the U.S. political divide wasn't the only reason to return home, Sirtis said. She pointed out a positive reason, remarking, "Career opportunities are better for a middle-aged woman in England, and that's another reason why I came back." She sees real opportunity in British television, noting that TV is a real women's medium in the UK. Most of the producers are women, a lot of the directors are women, a lot of the writers are women, and they write for women and not just 25-year-old blondes. She shares other thoughts with The Big Issue, including why she thinks Worf deserves his own spin-off show, the nightmares she experienced moving her dogs overseas, and the pleasant surprise that Star Trek Picard's ratings gave to her and Jonathan Frakes. You can read all about it by visiting bigissue.com. Now, I've got more news in a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. If you've been thinking about seeing a mental health counselor, now's the time to consider BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online counseling service that lets you get the help you need in a way that's convenient for you. When you sign up for BetterHelp, you'll get matched with a licensed professional therapist and start communicating with them in under 48 hours. Send messages anytime or book a phone or video chat, and you never have to sit in a waiting room. I want you to start living a happier life today. And as a daily Star Trek news listener, you can get 10% off your first month of counseling by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DSTN. Last week, the Television Academy Board of Governors enacted 2 new rule changes for the annual Emmy Awards, which will start later this year. News of these changes reached us through a report from Deadline. The first change relates to gender-specific awards. According to the Television Academy, nominees and/or winners in any performer category titled Actor or Actress may request that their nomination certificate and Emmy statuette carry the term performer in place of actor or actress. In the announcement, the Television Academy also noted that those same categories have never had a gender requirement for submissions. The new option for performers will be made available beginning with the 2021 awards season. Deadline noted that the change comes as demand has risen for non-binary awards. Events such as the Berlin Film Festival and the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics, or Gallica Dorian TV Awards, have already committed to presenting gender-neutral awards in their upcoming ceremonies. Now, the second rule change amends the eligibility for certain films and documentaries to be nominated for an Emmy. Under the new rules, any film placed on the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences viewing platform will be deemed a theatrical motion picture and thus ineligible for the Emmy competition. In other words, if a documentary is eligible for an Oscar, it is no longer allowed to be nominated for an Emmy. In the past, documentary films such as Free Solo and O.J. Made in America were able to take home awards from both organizations. This new rule change will prevent that from happening, beginning with Emmy nominations in 2022. Primetime Emmy nominations for 2021 will be announced on July 13th, with the awards ceremony planned for September 21st. Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek news is produced by me, Alison Pitt, and written by Chris Peterson and Jack Brown. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know and this week's Trek Trivia. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.